Oh, hello, hello, Studio 108 Seekers and Sages. I'm super excited to be sitting down here today for this little chit chat. Those of you who have known me for a while know that I've recently moved my community from the Fairlawn Akron area up here to Independence, which is home sweet home for me. Yeah, Dolores and I are actually both from, we both live in Brecksville, quite actually near each other, and right by this Brecksville independent border. So, you know, it's been a really exciting journey. There's been a lot of fresh air, fresh creativity. There have been a lot of new people. I've been really honored and blessed that so many of the people who were followers and friends from Akron drive up or join me live stream, really blessed by that. But I've been super blessed by just the really new, fresh people that have shown up in this space that seem to be arriving with like the Willy Wonka golden ticket. Like they're like, we know each other already, right?
Yes,
this is so well aligned. This is so well aligned. And Dolores Alquist is one of those people. So when Dolores came in, of course, she just glows a radiance from deep inside of her that you could see in her eyes. And it's clearly a pleasure to meet her. But over the course of the past few months, yeah, we're buddies now. We're pals. It's really, really good.
It's really good. Yeah.
It's really good. And how does it happen?
You know, so my connection with Tracy, I think I attended a couple of classes, and when I attended your class, your instructor that you love so much had recently passed away. And I took all the courage in the world because I don't do this. I just walked up to Tracy after class one day and I said, I have to tell you, your instructor is coming through loud and clear, and this is her message for you. And, you know, God love Tracy, she just took it in, she's like, okay.
Yeah.
And here we are today. It just kind of expanded our relationship, which has been really beautiful.
It really did. And I don't think there's any accident. Like even right now when you tell that story, the shivers come down my spine. I'm like, she's here. She likes you. You're a tribe member. You're just like of that essence.
Yeah.
So let me take a step back so that everyone can kind of get the clarity here. I'm introducing to you Dolores Alquist. We are going to chat about a couple of things. We are going to chat about all things spiritual, and we're going to chat about all things earthly. So we have some work to do in this little conversation. Dolores is an energy healer. And as with many of us, especially those of us who were earlier on the path, right? We were like early indigos or indigos, born before 2000. Sometimes way before 2000, but you know, your math doesn't have to be that good. But yeah, it's not like there was a school or a course or a tag or a label. Like we all kind of muddled our way through and divinely guided to meet the people we needed to meet and to learn the things we needed to learn. So tell me about that for you.
So I had a point in my adult life that there were two things that no matter what I did, I couldn't shake it, I couldn't get over the hump. And I just refused to live the rest of my life that way. And I keep it vague, not so much to, you know, paint that a picture that I have a beautiful life. It's just, I don't want to go back to my wounded warrior story.
Yeah.
I just really try to be in the present. I am so grateful for the life I have today. You know, I'm always growing, always expanding. It doesn't mean I don't have issues. It doesn't mean that I don't have things that I'm working on. But at that point in time, I just refused to think this was going to be the rest of my life. So I just kept digging. Just kept going. And all of a sudden I was open, you know, found this great new way to process life. And I believe the first place I landed was Mind Valley. And Mind Valley is fantastic. Do you know Mind Valley?
Of course.
Mind Valley.
When was that, Dolores? You must have been early on their adventure.
I never figured that out. Vision Lakiani, who is Mind Valley, I never figured out I was early in his program because I was so brilliant from the beginning.
I know,
Until he said one day, you know, I've been doing this for 5 years, and I was like,
5 years?
That was me.
I was here on episode 1.
Yeah.
You were really at the beginning of his ride.
Really at the beginning. And if you don't know Mind Valley, Vision has a guest speaker a month, and it's free.
Yeah.
And so I would jump on those free calls. And then of course, if you want to buy the guest speakers package, you buy it. And I definitely participated in some of those courses. And finally, I decided, and then I also found You Wealth Revolution. Those are all podcasts, and those are all free also. And so I just kept listening to all these instructors, and finally I thought, I'm going to do this myself. I want to learn how to do this. And I did. You know, my first course, I flew to Utah by myself. Never been to Utah. Went to Utah and just met an incredible group of people. That was led by Carolyn Cooper. Her course is called Simply Healed, and she taught me the foundation. I'm eternally grateful for her. And since then, there's a saying that says, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So since then, I have studied under many incredible teachers. Currently, Sarah Landon, who is just as beautiful as they come, internally and externally. So I'm just on this path. I just keep going. And
I love it. I think that's really a cool thing. In my Kundalini school, they talk similarly when the student's ready, the teacher will appear, but also the coming of the Aquarian age and the shift from information into experience. In the Piscean time, you had to have a college degree to do something. You had to be certified, and you have to have all this credentialing based on what the system says. Whereas now it's much more experiential. And so you can take this great journey through the buffet of life and be inspired and, just lifted and developed really by such a variety. So like, I love that you cross-reference so many different modalities around this energy work and different perspectives. What does that bring to your work, do you think?
If you go in your kitchen, you don't have one tool in your kitchen, right?
Yeah.
You have knives, wooden spoons, pots, pans, bowls. It's the same thing. Like, I just feel that you need a variety of different tools to help somebody. So I work in the place or the space that we're all connected, and everybody calls that something different. So I try to use generic language. You can use the universe, God, nature, the divine, your higher self, whatever that is. I go to that place, that's where I connect, and then I just follow it. Like, if I might be doing one modality and then something comes to mind, I go to the next one. I am so neutral. All I care about, if I am working with someone, is helping that person. Right. And that's the end game. Yeah, I just stay really focused on that.
Because that's really the giving. The channel. Right?
Yes.
No personal agenda.
Exactly.
Your own.
And so it's funny because frequently people say spiritual people are really out there. And I laugh because, we might be really out there because we're just kind of following what is being presented to us, Right. Like, I am highly logical, highly organized, but when I am in session, I'm like, everything just.
Well, Dolores, did you have any, like, sometimes people will have early indicators as a child, and then it'll kind of like shadow over with real life, and then you get this awakening experience. It sounds like perhaps you, like many, through your challenges. What happened? Where were you as a child? Like, what were your early hints?
I was a dreamer. I never remembered my dreams until I had to. And I would wake up and I would remember my dream, and it would happen. And unfortunately, it was always like not a good thing that was.
You got premonitions.
Yes.
And they came in your sleep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And did your family welcome that information from you? Did you talk about it?
So yes and no. Like, on both my mom's family and my dad's family, they were all dreamers, right? But it was like, oh, Aunt so-and-so had a dream, It was kind of like that.
You come from a long family of doom dreamers?
Yes. It's always doom and gloom in my family dreams, right? Someone's dying.
Salt from the shore.
So, but that's really important, because it's like that, whoa, like all of a sudden it took on, if I have a premonition, it's gonna be bad.
Gotcha.
So, which is really key, because I had to work through that, because a lot of times it can be really good.
Right.
But in that context, it was always focusing on someone's getting hurt, someone's dying, you know, someone's house is gonna blow up. It's, you know, yeah, it was that line.
Well, and there's a skill, like that's an early skill to be able to see the heaviness, to see the darkness.
Yeah.
Sometimes developmentally, it's heavy and dark, so it's somewhat easier to see. I don't want to say easier, but the first notice.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But even when I speak with my mom today, who is just a gem, like you've never met a gem. I love my mother so much. She will say, "Oh, I thought I knew that was going to happen." And I will say to her, "See, Mom, you know, we have the same gifts. I'm just open to them."
Yeah.
And we all have these gifts. We've been taught to repress them because things like the Salem witch trial, of course, you don't want to be weird. I don't want to be that freak. Like it's all of that.
Yeah.
You know?
Or the gypsies.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was cultural.
Yeah.
But I think too, like the frequency on the planet has changed, and our body instruments
I agree.
are getting more attuned. So
Yes.
it could be that mom's model,
Mhm.
the best she can do is, you know, that level of skill set.
Yes.
And then you've got an upgraded model.
Yeah.
I want to ask if any of your kids work like this.
Yes.
Yes, because then they've got a really updated model. New and improved.
So my son, who I just love so much, he from his youth would tell me he would see his shadow. And I believe it's like his guardian angel.
Yes.
And you know, but it scared him. And as an adult, I don't think he knows what to do with it. Like he's open to it. And I gently dip my toe in that water with him when the opportunity presents itself, you know.
Well, good for you, because
Yeah.
I'm a pushy mom. I have to rip into it. I think everybody bloody is pissed.
Yeah, my daughter's really open to energy work, and she's finding her path.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, Leah will say something like, "We're here, mojo magic," or something. You know, sometimes I can intend. You know, if it's for someone else, their higher self needs to be open to that.
They have to want it. Yeah.
Well, I love this. So you do healing work, and then you also have a day job. And this is sort of like this heaven earth conversation, and it's not either or, I don't think, but how can, you know, tell us a little bit about your day job and how you've learned to kind of bridge those worlds.
So this has really been something I've been working on a lot with as of late, and I finally feel like I took that final step across the bridge. So I'm a financial advisor. You know, I help people with their money. You know, we're always so afraid to say money, right? So I help people with their money, and I, you know, help them, you know, plan for their future. And here I am. I've always worked in corporate America. Corporate America has been very good to me.
Yes.
Very good to me, and I'm so grateful for that. You know, but you know, I do basic things like I start off every day just staying really focused so that I will only do what's in my client's best and highest interest. And you know, when people meet with me or feedback that my boss gives me, it's like, Dolores, the way you deliver messages is so brilliant. Like, and you put people at ease, and they are at calm, and you are so trusting, and you know, people want to tell you everything. And so I've learned to take these gifts and use it for people's highest and best interest. I would never take advantage of that. And I help people. Like, money is a big mystery to a lot of people. Then they're afraid of it, or they've been taught, you know, dirty, like people with money, like they cheated and they took advantage of people to get there.
Silver spoon.
Exactly.
Nobody wants to do that. But you know, what I love hearing, because I feel like this too is what we're being asked to do, is to carry our spiritual selves into our work world, so that your job isn't and this was something I really worked with when I was a teacher, like after about 10 years when things started to get like, I'm still at this job, you know, and it's easy to let the bitterness and the resentments and the heaviness of the work kind of like sneaking around the edges. It's like this understanding that I work for my highest good, my spiritual self. Like I work for spirit, and then I'm taking that aspect of myself into this job with these people. But I don't work for this Board of Education. I work for divine. I work for source. And so like this is what you're doing. You're bringing like your spiritual way to the office, and neutralizing, and reassuring, and calming and serving. We're truly serving people.
So as you can imagine, I work in a really stressful environment. This is a great time to have this conversation. Markets have been down. Not everyone, a lot of people are stressed. I go in the office and people like love to talk to me. And I know why they love to talk to me, you know, because, and they will leave very peaceful and calm. And what a great gift I can give to my workmates. And huge.
And to the whole planet.
Exactly.
And so like if I imagine like in my mind's eye, especially if I'm teaching a large group and everybody's in a really good place and their hands are at the heart, and I just like imagine each of their little lights going out into the world, back home where the kids are screaming, back to, you know, I don't know, wherever you go, to a restaurant where the waitress is having a crummy day and she's gonna yell at all day. Like take your light back out into the world. That's such like that's a PhD level job.
And we've all had that day where you have been having a god-awful day, and one person comes up to you, and for 10 seconds they're nice to you, and your entire day has changed. 100%. And then that person can take it to the next person and the next person. So we were talking, Tracy and I were talking about peace and world peace before. This is where it starts.
100%.
Like we are sitting here in Independence, Ohio, and how do I help Russia and the Ukraine, right? This is how you do it, because it starts right here. Because as soon as I can be peaceful and centered, my light can shine, and it can spread globally.
And considering that we're all one, there's like a cosmic, collective tipping point. And if we can keep it up high, that negativity is going to start to dissipate and shed out. But if we all go into the fear and the worry with it, it's just another variety of negativity, and it's going to anchor it rather than shed it. But I just caught this memory of having lunch with you, or coffee when we met last week. And I had such a headache, and I got up and I left, and I was like, I have a headache. So, you know, invite Dolores for some coffee.
Wait. You had a headache for how many days?
4 days.
4 days.
It was really bad. I even had migraines where like my spinal, like my brain doesn't drain, so all the compression and just like my eyes were black, it was hard to think, my eyes were super dry, it was miserable. So I'm thinking just, we'll be having coffee. So I'm gonna get Dolores, we have coffee. Just sit there and talk to me.
So let's talk about this peace thing. So you know, we've all heard about manifestation, like that's been popular for years, right? And if you go to the core of manifestation, it's about where is your focus.
True.
So guess where everybody's focus was during the pandemic?
And
guess why it stuck around longer than it was supposed to? Because we were all so focused on it. Now our focus has gone to the war, and I'm not saying that it should not. We should all be mindful of it. But here's what we can do. We can, you know, we can only control ourselves, right? It's right here. So as we control ourselves and focus on peace, love, joy, harmony, it can expand out. Now that doesn't mean you don't follow inspired action, right? If you're like, what can I do? What can I do? And you just kind of sit in that space, and you're like, you know what? I think I'm going to maybe donate financially, or maybe I have clothes that I can drop off, you know, somewhere and get clothing there. Or maybe I'm going to sit down with a group of friends and just, meditate on world peace or pray on it, or like whatever that means for you, right? And it will have that impact across the world. Now, Can I teach for 1 second?
Do.
So we spend so much time in our head. So go from your head to your heart. One of the practices I always teach, picture a little staircase. Build your own staircase. It can be straight, it can be spiral, like build your own staircase. Head to your heart and watch yourself, mine's always a spiral staircase. Watch yourself going down into your heart and step into your heart and feel what you want to feel. So feel that peace, feel that joy, feel that harmony. And once you're there, all you have to say is I send from my heart space to all of humanity, peace, love, joy, and harmony. And that will ripple across this planet. Mm-hmm. It sounds so simple.
It's so powerful. Anyone can do it.
Anybody.
Anyone can do it.
Anybody.
Anyone can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. You don't need to be a yoga teacher. You don't need to be a yogi. You don't have to have ever done yoga before. You don't have to be a religious person. You don't have to think you're very spiritual. Like anyone.
Yeah.
We all have vibration.
Yeah. All of us do.
And every thought.
Mm-hmm. Every thought, every feeling, every emotion.
Every emotion.
Yeah. You don't need any training. In 10 seconds, I told you how simple it is, because we get in our head too much, and it genuinely can be that simple.
I think the hardest thing is just what you said, like putting the butt down, putting the phone down, closing your eyes, finding some breath, and then using the practice.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so easy to talk about. Dolores said to do that, so like I'm doing that. Well, no, you're not. Sit down, close your eyes, set the timer for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
3 minutes.
Yeah. And that's so funny, I've done that. I wear an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
And sometimes I literally only have 2 minutes. But I'll set my watch for 2 minutes. I'll just say, hey Siri, set an alarm for 2 minutes from now. And then I go into that space for 2 minutes. And I am balanced, I am centered, I can accomplish great things in those 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It doesn't take.
I remember Caroline Mace, because she was one of the people I followed, that I didn't realize I was following from early on either, because it was like, I don't know, the mid 80s. Yeah. The 80s when she and Wayne Dyer started talking.
Yes.
And I had all these cassettes in my car that I would listen to like repeatedly until I could like change my mental patterns. But she said, if you want to like burn incense or put candles on or run a bubble bath or have pretty curtains or have fresh, like you could do all that, but you don't have to. Like a master can drop themselves 3 deep breaths into an anchor.
Yeah.
And so it's really just a matter of practicing it, right? And saying, I want this tool in my kitchen.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And it works for me. I can be pretty habitual, so it works for me to start my day off that way. But some people are night people, like whenever it works for you.
Red lights, waiting for the kids in the carpool line.
Like
my lunchtime.
Yeah.
As a single mom, those are my,
that was your time.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever your time is, just make that commitment to yourself. Like this is about you and being the best version of yourself. And if you just take those few minutes and, just like Tracy said, 3 deep breaths, that's all it takes. That's all it takes.
Mm-hmm. The first time's probably the hardest, but that's all it takes once you practice it a little bit. Just a little bit of practice.
Yeah.
And, for me, it was choosing between, do I want to be irritated, upset, impatient, have my eyes bug out of my head with this, the stress of the day, or do I want to take a few deep breaths and relax? And that was really motivating for me because I don't want to, you're good. I don't want to be that person. Yeah. It's so grumpy. So Dolores, this piece sounds like a little message to humanity.
It's a big message.
Gotcha.
Really, yeah. And
is someone in particular come through for you with that? I mean, I don't know that any of the angels, archangels, divine masters, spirit guides, guardians, fairies, elves, I don't know if there's a creature or a being in this galaxy or in the next that would tell us that we need to pray for peace right now. But
I think that, everyone's probably sending that message to us, but if I may.
Yeah.
So several months ago, I had this incredible vision of an archangel. and I worked with an artist to draw her for me, and she is fantastic. And I gave the artist very little guidance because I wanted inspired, artistic creation, right? And I tweaked just a couple things, but this archangel is named Andromeda. And Andromeda is not as well known as like Gabriel or Michael, but she is known for peace, unity, harmony. So here I'm thinking like, this is perfect timing for the world and how great this is gonna be. Well, what she did for me is she showed me the places in my life where there was not peace.
Oh, that prayer. I said that prayer. Ooh.
Oh, it was brutal.
It's brutal.
But the messaging was, if you want peace, joy, and harmony, you gotta have it in here first,
Yeah.
So it just like, this is like the past several months, like it's just been coming through loud and clear. So she has been coming through loud and clear because I believe she's very active right now in bringing peace and harmony and love to the planet. But I think everyone all in right now is just really focusing on the shift for humanity, because behaviors like suppression, control, all of those negative power, all of it is not tolerated anymore. Really genuinely not to be tolerated anymore. And it's a significant shift for those that are, really into control and power stuff.
And I always remember that their souls are here playing a role as well.
Yeah.
And it would be easy just to take good guys, bad guys. And it's really just high vibration, low vibration.
Yeah,
Exactly. So, we just need to keep the vibration as high as we can as individuals, do our own inner work. That's our contribution.
Exactly. Yes, it is.
And if you're inspired to write a check or you're closer to the other things, please do.
Yeah, definitely.
But not to underestimate, our own inner work. I think right now. Inner peace. I bought a necklace years ago when I was in the middle of like deep developmental mud. It was a necklace with a little jewel. You know those magazines that you would get 5 books for $1 and everything, and they had like little jewelry things splattered in between. And so for one of my 5 things, I got this necklace, and it was a goddess holding this blue ball, and it was emotional stability. And I was like, oh, I really need that. And I probably wore that necklace for 3 months before that concept awakened, that if I'm going to say the prayer, I'm going to get the lesson. And wasn't I living the lesson? So it really is a beautiful thing. But you're not alone. It is a journey, and you're not alone. So what helps? Like-minded people help. Communities for your practices help. So come in and see us. We know what it's like if you're in your dark night.
So it's really important to know that we all have free will, and you just have to ask for it, so, if we have angels and guides around us, whatever you believe, fairies, or, whatever you believe in, if you just pause and ask for help, that help would be delivered to you. But because we have free will, it just can't be granted unto you. So if you're lost and don't know where to go, just ask for that guidance.
I think that took me a long time to learn. Ask.
You just have to ask for guidance. You just have to ask for help. And it may be Tracy showing up at your doorstep, but it may be something else, right? You just need to, just be a little mindful if you're asking for help, and someone knocking on the door to help you.
100%. Like there's an art to saying a prayer, and there's an art to receiving a prayer. And that was basically what you were telling me coming through my teachers. Like, are you being receptive? Are you receiving the guidance I'm giving you?
Right.
And it took, I had to mull things over. It's not like I'm a master of any sort. Like I'm a kindergartner. So Dolores comes to me with like a message, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna think on that. And it takes me a few days of like chewing on it to say, like, I think I get it. Like watching myself and my behavior, watching, my ways of being, and applying it against this suggestion. So it's like a practice, right?
So imagine if we were all running around everyone's teaching, or I am loving you, like I just love you. And we're all giving and we don't receive.
It's like I'm inhaling and inhaling and inhaling.
So that it's a flow. So picture like a wave on the ocean. It's giving and receiving. Like we have to have that balance. And the greatest thing I worked on during our quarantine was receiving love. Like just letting people around me just love me, because I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and I am running around working and loving everyone and taking care of everything. And and I had to stop and start to receive some of that love back. And if it will keep showing up. It'll keep showing up until you're ready. And unfortunately, that typically manifests itself into sickness. Like we give, and then we get sick. And then we're dependent upon those around us to take care of us. And if that's your story right now, just open up to that love, right? And you will heal really fast. But frequently that's the knock on the door we get is some level of sickness that we have to stop. And the people around us love us. So don't wait till you get sick, just
figure it out fast. Quick a fifth grader, don't hang on kindergarten your whole life with me. So be like, oh my goodness. Okay, so I want to talk about this idea of power of 11, because Dolores and I have a really exciting, Dolores and I and Lisa Stewart, who you'll have to go back through the previous podcast sessions, because Lisa and I were on I don't know, 6-8 weeks ago, something like that. But we are holding an event, a monthly meeting event experience called Power of 11. So do it for us, describe it. What can people look forward to?
Oh my gosh, this is going to be fantastic. So we're going to start off with Tracy playing the bowls. And if you have not experienced that, it'll knock your socks off. It's really so beautiful. And you feel it mentally, physically, and spiritually. So that's going to get all of us in a really great open place. I'm going to jump in and do a group healing with everyone in the room. Then we're going to go to Lisa for some channeled messages. And then we're going to close with a gong ceremony. Did I say that right?
Yes.
And the number, we're only going to let 11 people sign up. So sign up quickly.
Because the 11 has power.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a karmic number that is attached to enlightenment and awakening. So that's the purpose of the evening, is that we get together, and from the momentum of the group of the 11 people in the room, we're going to let go of some stuff that no longer serves us and open us up so we can take a step forward in our journey.
100%. And so, you don't have to be sick to get better, right? Like, it's a healing, but it's not like bring, your sick people.
Yeah.
It's more like come and participate in an experience that clears and lifts.
Yes.
That keeps your vibration high, that helps us really thrive in these times.
Yeah.
And one of the most valuable things that can happen as we look for experiences like this or respond to the invitation is we carve out time for ourselves. We carve out time for our spiritual selves. And so, when you walk into an experience like this, anything can happen or not happen. What does it matter? You've carved out time for this one particular experience, and it's like shining a light on it, right? And then that which you shine a light on expands and radiates and glows. And when we come together in that 11, we receive, but we also give. So as a participant in the group, you are a healer. You are there to support the whole. And, we will create sacred space, sacred circle around us. And I know that you and Lisa are both so talented and gifted. It's going to be a really magical experience. And one thing about these things is you just never know. So I can't even tell you why. It could get really good. It could get like crazy good, like insane. So you want to be in on it.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be an enlightening experience.
Yeah. It's Thursday, April 14th.
Yes.
We are meeting at 7:11, although I put it at 7:10 because the computer wouldn't let me take the 11.
No, it would not.
I know, so I was like, well, it just have to be 10. So it'll be, well, the last class ends at 7. So by the time we make the transition, it'll be about 11 minutes after 7 we'll start, and we'll go until 8:30.
Yeah.
So we'll have some time together.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining.
I know, right? Thank you, Dolores. Thank you for bringing your light and your love into our community. We're really looking forward to more good things to come. Thank you. Thanks to all of you for listening. Hey, we would love to have you subscribe, comment, like, share, keep the goodness going, pass the ball to someone who needs it, and check your calendar for April 14th. Contact information for Dolores and her healing services will be in our comments. So, namaste.
Thank you.